Please use the wireless mics if you're going to ask a question. There's one on each side of the aisle.
Jason, are you as pleased with the performance as you are on, I would guess, with the 3 points?
No. I think it'd be hypocritical for me to come in here and say that I'm really pleased, because I'm not. We lost a game a week ago. How long ago was it? Geez, 10 days. Yeah. 10 days ago, and I was pleased with the performance and displeased with the result. Tonight, I'm just displeased with the performance. And it's the first game this year where I can say that, honestly. A lot of things to be displeased about, and only one to be pleased with, which is 3 points, and maybe another half. And then we fought really hard to maintain that result at the end when we're down basically a man and a half.
With Javi?
Yeah, Javi pulled his hamstring, and Ned, we think, broke his rib, so he was not able to be his normal self, and it obviously caused us some troubles.
Jason, do you think maybe some of that had to do with a lot of the new faces out there? I think you had 3 guys making the first starts of the year.
Tanaka, Johnson, and Steele. A little bit. I think tactically in the first half we didn't find the spaces to exploit that we talk about all the times when teams are going to play with 5 midfielders against us. I didn't think our balance in the midfield was good, which meant we didn't have options. When we had the ball, we ended up trying to squeeze things into players that were already marked, and gave the ball away a lot in the opening 15, 20 minutes. Probably could have and should have been punished for that.
Jason, you had mentioned earlier this year about Paulo being improved his professionalism, the way he's been playing. He finally kind of broke through with his goal today. How do you feel he played, and do you see that as continuing?
Yeah, I thought he actually was one of the few players that was really bright on the ball in the first half and making some things happen. Every time he touched it, he was turning his guy, getting behind his guy, looking to combine with Fabian, and I thought he had a pretty sharp 9, and he worked really, really hard.
Please, like his wanting to take the PK.
Yeah, I'm pleased with that, for sure. I know that he's a forward, like any forward, you want to get off the snide at the beginning of the season, so pleased with that.
Jason, what specific areas of improvement are you looking from your team going forward into the next match on Saturday?
Well, first and foremost, I thought we got out-competed in the first half on our field. Just hardly ever would tell you that happens here. So it's very foreign to me, and it won't be acceptable. So in the second half, I thought we actually came out and did a much better job, and probably should have scored a goal in the first 15, 20 minutes of the second half, which maybe puts us in a lot better place. Then we can talk about all the improvement we had in the second half over the first, but unfortunately we didn't put one of those chances away, and then we end up with the 2 injuries, and we're just hanging on for dear life. So a lot of stuff to improve on. I don't think it does me any good or you any good for me to list them all.
Jason, I think it was Tanaka's first minutes of the season. What were your thoughts on his play out there?
Decent. Contributed fairly nicely in some of the attacking movements, especially in the second half. I thought he got forward well, timed his runs well. Defensively, there's some problems that we've got to talk about and look at video with him, because Matt was getting in behind him a lot in the second half especially.
I'm sorry, I don't have my phone. At the risk of...
You can't ask a question if you don't know.
Is there... Oh, thank you. Is there any part of that you can or would be willing to attribute to 4 days off a very emotional win in Portland?
I think maybe a little bit. There are some fairly fatigued legs out there. I think we started 5 or 6 players that started Saturday night, something like that. So a little bit of fatigue, but Montreal's in the exact same situation.
Did you have a chance to talk to Ned to find out specifically when that injury happened? Was it just that last scramble there in the box?
No. It was way earlier than that. There was at least 20 minutes left when he was grabbing his rib. And he was close to us, so we could ask him, and he said he thought he broke his rib. So, and at that point, we didn't have any subs left. So I'm just asking him to gut it out for us.
With the injury,
Whoa.
sorry about that. With the injuries tonight, does that at all change the way of the plan of the starting 11 heading into Saturday's match?
Yeah, well, there's no doubt. We had a very set plan on who was going to start Saturday night, and now it looks like a couple of those guys are injured.
other questions? Michael?
Michael's the MVP of the press conference.
Defense has given up quite a few chances this match and last match. A lot of near opportunities for the opposing team. Is that a concern going forward, and what do you do?
I don't think that you can be too critical of a team that gives up chances when you're in Portland. I think you watch any game there and you're going to see Portland's going to get a ton of chances because that's how they're built and that's the type of field they play on. So I don't have any problem with that game. I do think that this game we've got some problems. But again, most of that comes to what we did with the ball. On a different night, we're much better with the ball. We gave it away so cheaply and they were right at us. And so, you talk about defense, it's just like anything in soccer. If you want to talk about one portion, you need to talk about the other as well. So talk about the chances we gave away, and I'm going to say that's because we didn't keep the ball well enough. So, I think the commitment level to defend and the reactions when we lost it were still pretty good.
Jason, do you know any prognosis on how bad or how long Javi might be out? And also, how would you compare the Impact now with maybe the RSL team in its expansion season?
I understand the second part of that for a second. No idea on Javier. We haven't even had the doctor look at him yet. And then with Montreal, it's so early to say, really. I think it's way too early to say. I think it's a team with some interesting pieces and some talented players, and you can see, I think that they probably have a lot of confidence coming away from this game, just as they did the first 45 minutes at New York. And so they've got some real positives to draw off of, but I know it can be difficult to continue to have bad results. So we'll see. I think it's too early to tell.
What do you expect on Saturday with Colorado coming into town?
I expect and demand a better effort from our guys, and I'm quite certain that we will get it. I don't think we've had too many lackluster affairs with Colorado, so it should be, I think, a great game because Colorado is a very, very good team this year. It's looking quite different than they have over the past several, and maybe it'll be a beautiful soccer game.
Jay, can you talk a little bit about your relationship with Oscar?
Yeah, I played with Oscar for 4 or 5 years in Dallas. And if the question gets asked to me a lot to name 1 or 2 of the most favorite players I ever played with, he would be in that list, no doubt. The top 3 for sure. He was a fantastic player to play with. He created so many of the goals that I scored. He was an absolute fighter, a guy that worked hard every single day and wanted to win every time he stepped on the field, whether that was trainings or games. So I told Paul Bravo in January that unfortunately for us, they made a very, very good decision.
Any other questions for Jason? All right.